the Nonprofit Corner podcast brought to you by your host, Dr. Victoria Boyd. And welcome to the Nonprofit Corner podcast. And this is your host, Dr. Victoria Boyd. I'm so excited to be in the groove again, revving up these podcasts. As you know, if you've watched any of our other podcasts, this is all about education, awareness, and resources for the nonprofit sector. And do we have a resource today? I want to introduce you to our special guest. This is Chris Troka. And you're up there in Wisconsin, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay, you're in the cold weather, but I won't rub it in because I'm down here in Las Vegas in
We
the
are
day.
jealous.
Yes, okay. But you are one of our featured speakers for the summit that's coming up April 16th, and it's our Nonprofit Impact Summits, AI and technology for nonprofits. I'm so excited about that. But you're one of our featured speakers. You're a VIP. But before we get into more about that stuff, you have a great history. So could you give us a little background of your bio and how you sort of got to where you are today? Because you used to be a DJ. You were spinning.
That's right. I was spinning. Yeah, absolutely. I still spin a little bit as well. And that was kind of my origin story into how I even got into DJing in the first place. I had worked every job out there imaginable, from restaurants and retail to car sales. I eventually made my way into a home care and hospice company that was a nonprofit. This was my first real, I would feel like the official adult job that I really got to dress up and play this part. I felt great about the work I was doing. I was working in the volunteer department. I scheduled for the Meals on Wheels program and also for our final hours program. This is when a patient enters end of life care, and then we provide respite support to the family and the patient through volunteers and home health aides. So a lot of that experience I was able to use. And then my boss's boss told me, "Hey, can you bring that sound and lighting equipment from your band days and be a DJ for us?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" So that was my origin story into over the last 10 years, growing an award-winning wedding DJ service in
Okay.
Wisconsin here. I built and scaled a team of DJs. I went back to school for marketing, and that's when I pivoted and transitioned into offering the AI automation marketing technology style services for everybody. Yes, it felt like you can't do enough. But a lot of that early experience with the nonprofit, it was a great experience because they kind of let me just take the reins. They said, "This is your program, treat it like it was your business." So the first year I was in there, we brought technology, we brought it up to speed. They were running faxes to report meal changes for our Meals on Wheels program. I said, we have to do something about that. So we worked a new program where we could email it a PDF. This worked fantastic. But in addition, the program was bleeding money. And a lot of the times with these nonprofits, we need to focus on at least breaking even. Otherwise, you can't give back to the community
Right.
if you're unprofitable at all. So I was able to save the Meals on Wheels program $30,000 per year by implementing some route changes. So I took our 85 clients, put them on a Google Maps and color coded them, and I looked at recreating these routes. So that was a cool experience that kind of led into, how do I improve businesses, not only myself, but for others? So that was a great kind of, starting point that kind of led me into this journey that we're on now.
And I want to point out, you talked about Google Maps and how you put the routes in there. That is technology. And see, a lot of
Yes.
times, especially in the nonprofit world, a lot of when we hear technology, we freeze up. Oh, we got to deal with technology. That's digital. All of those Google, that's a digital platform. That is when I'm preaching about getting your Google ad grants. Google Maps. Google is the one that created all of those things, and it's a digital software. It's a platform. I know this is a question you weren't expecting, but you worked with creating routes digitally. How much training did you have to give them on this technology?
So what was fascinating about this program was most of our volunteers were going to be in the 50 plus range. So these were, successful or retired entrepreneurs, people who were looking to give back. And at that time, this was in 2014. So this was still barely into the smartphone where GPS and MapQuest and Google Maps were readily available. So all of our drivers, I would provide them printed MapQuest directions because that's what they preferred. So we have a team of, we have 7 to 8 routes, and I would print all these instructions
Okay.
as they change. But trying to get them to adapt
Yeah.
to technology was a challenge challenge.
Yeah.
They were resistant to it. But over time, we were able to show the benefits not only to them, but to our organization as well, and said, hey, if you're able to adapt a little bit and move to these changes, this is going to help the program and we can serve more
Yeah. So
people.
you
So
actually
getting
used
that,
a hybrid where you looked up the maps and got them digitally and then printed them out. And
yes.
that gives a comfort zone to a lot of people when they still have that the old way that we've always done it this way format, but yet to get there, you use a new technology. And this is also going to have to play into how we need to introduce AI, chat GPT, all of these terms that I've run into a lot of people. They've even asked me, what is chat GPT? But
Huh?
it's the next generation of technology, basically. And
It is.
we need to show, and just like were showing a nonprofit, here's how you can save money by just doing things a little bit more simply with some digital technology. So, do you have any other examples of how technology, even in regular businesses, has helped them? Because I know you're into it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great thing. One of the points that you made was not everything has to get, overturned and changed. You can still incorporate a lot of previous elements and let technology work in the background, but still present more of your same old systems that you had before. That can be
Mhm.
great for this more transitory period while you're kind of adapting to new technology. And over time, I think that would get more comfortable with it. But yeah, I'm using technology in almost every facet of my life. ChatGPT is what's known as an LLM, a large language model.
Mhm.
And these tools recreate human speech through text, and now they have access to tools. So ChatGPT, like LLMs, can now research the web. They can do deep research for you. They can
Yeah.
connect to tools and calendars. So
Yeah.
one of the examples I have is I automated an entire year's worth of social media for my own business, and this can be great for nonprofits. So
Absolutely.
I might go to ChatGPT and ask them, what are some fun fundraising facts or something interesting about our industry or profession that we do? And they'll come up with some ideas, some copy, and you can take that copy and now tell it to create an Excel spreadsheet for you. So
Hmm.
I had it create 26 variations. This is like a post every other week. Put a random date between today and the end of the year in column A. I want column B to be my post copy. I'd like column C to reference an image online that could be used as like a stock image. And then column D, put the keyword that we focused on in the social media. So
Yeah.
it produced a fully complete Excel spreadsheet that I then took to my social media scheduler for automation and uploaded an entire year worth of social media. This took less than
Laughing
45
because
minutes.
you just used a boatload of technical terms
Sure,
that
of course.
fortunately, no, I love it. I love it because in order to stay up with the industry, in order to be up to date, you're going to have to learn those terms. You use, terminology that fortunately we're going to discuss. Well, I'm going to discuss in my session just basic terminology in this AI and technology world. Just using the different terms will help them understand because when you identify all of the things, keywords, and I put in here that I want, those are called prompts. And
Yeah.
most now they don't know what's a prompt. I thought I just wrote ask it a question and hope to get no, there's certain prompts. I'm even going to be teaching them how to put their organizational profile in their brand message that's housed on their software that they're using so that every time they ask it something, move it forward, they know that they're talking about their organization, what they're about, what they're branding, and it can line up. So I'm excited about giving them in depth about just putting that one little element, your brand profile, in your software. So what you just did, you took them, okay, there were obviously some previous things that you had to, because how would it know what to write in social media if it didn't have, haha, you said keywords. Yes,
Yes.
keywords are key in Google Ad Grants. I know. Okay. We're going to have to take a break right now. I'm getting way too excited. So we're going to take a brief break and we will be right back with the Nonprofit Corner podcast. The Nonprofit Impact Summits. How are you using artificial intelligence? Is it a friend or foe? You need to attend AI and Technology, April 16th, Nonprofit Impact Summits. And welcome back to the Nonprofit Corner podcast with your host, Dr. Victoria Boyd. And once again, here we have Chris Troka. He has given, I hope you were paying attention. And if necessary, go back, rewind this, and take notes because he dropped some real nuggets in terms of things you can do, some keywords. He said keywords, but he was using terms that you're going to need to understand and utilize what they mean in order to really get a rich and valuable return on your investment, because your time still is your investment when you're using the myriad of tools out there. He was just talking about Chat GPT, but there are so many other tools that you'll learn about at the summit. So let's talk a little bit about just the efficiency. Just talk
Because it's
about the tool.
great.
Just talk about it.
Of course, because efficiency is a game changer for one for-profit businesses, and then it's essential in nonprofits as well. You need your team firing on all cylinders. You need to give them access to the tools and resources they need to do their job well. And now, how can we use the AI and technology to better the human experience? One, for building relationships, but free up the time for a lot of the board members, staff members who are executing everything, but allow them more time to build relationships. So one thing in the back end that AI agents can now do, they're able to accept payments and accept booking calendars and follow up and replicate what would be a typical fundraising journey or a campaign that you might implement for your
Okay, I
nonprofit.
need you to explain. You just use the word AI agent. Just give us a real brief definition. What is an AI agent? I know what it is, but I don't think our listeners might.
Of course, an AI agent is basically an assistant and a tool that can perform actions for you. Think of it like a personal virtual assistant. They can connect to some calendars and tools available on the web. They can perform actions for you and follow-ups.
Mhm.
And through the prompting that we give them, they can basically create and promote your brand vision based on your nonprofit. They can reply and provide answers based on your brand mission and your guidelines. So
Right.
these are the AI agents. Kind of think of them like an assistant,
And,
that
and I
you'll
know
use.
in some formats, especially if our listeners have been sort of researching or they're investigating what all these AI, some people call it the AI employee.
That is correct. Yes. Synonymous terms are used frequently, interchangeably with each other. The AI employee, AI agents. It's kind of like creating, like you said, an employee. If we think of an employee or an assistant, you typically give them an objective, you
Yep,
assign them a job title and a role, and you want them to perform specific tasks and functions throughout their work life, right? What's
absolutely.
better about the AI employees and AI agents is they can work 24/7. While your nonprofit is open 8 to 5 and potentially maybe on weekends, they can work 24/7. They can now build and nurture relationships 24/7 with a lot of your donors, or can perform some outreach as well for people who have opted in previously. It can also upsell and cross sell. So if you think about how do we get more donations, many people think we need more outreach, right?
Mhm.
Why don't you look into your own client list currently and try to upsell them, try to cross sell them into a new opportunity to be another donor, to take it up another level.
Okay, so let's give a little plug for the Nonprofit Impact Summit that's coming April 16th. Once again, when I introduce you, I said you are one of our VIP speakers. And so that means you are an expert in the industry. You have your own business. You have been helping for-profit and nonprofits really become more effective, efficient. But I loved it when you put your title, you had the big dollar signs in it.
Because money talks, and that's what nonprofits are looking for. Even though, their mission, why they do things, isn't focused around profit. The profit is necessary. That is what allows them to be able to be effective in the community.
Yeah, and
So
most of the time they think fundraising. That's where their dollar signs come in their eyes, they're always thinking fundraising, but there's so many other ways to actually save them money. And just some of the tools that you've mentioned already will do that for them because it is not replacing employee. We're not talking about replacing people. We're talking about using the staff and the bandwidth they have where they need it most, and that is putting it on their mission so that their organization can have more impact. Shifting just tasks to some of these AI agents or employees and letting the real people do a real job. And so that's
yes.
why I'm so excited because you're gonna dollar sign, dollar sign, dollar sign.
We're going to bring all the tips and tricks at the virtual summit. This is where I'm kind of letting it all out there, showing the real use cases, both the efficiency side and then, yes, revenue generating income streams, not just the top of the funnel, but more the bottom line, saving in the efficiency area as well.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited. Chris, do you want to give your phone number or a website or email just to promote your company? Go ahead and do it now.
Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely. So anyone can Google my name online, Chris Troka. It's spelled T like in Tom, Roka. My website is going to be focus-biz.com. But I think anyone who finds me on the interweb, you'll probably find a podcast or a website related to me. So they'll find me online and be able to connect with me as well.
Have no fear. In this podcast, I will make sure all of that information is blasted across the screen. Once again, it has truly been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Um, Everybody, listeners, you've got to sign up for the Nonprofit Impact Summit so that you can hear the whole presentation by Chris and myself. And that is April 16th, 2025. That's a Wednesday. Registration is open now. Just follow the link that you'll see below, nonprofitimpactsummits.org. And this has been your host, Dr. Victoria Boyd. And once again, this is the Nonprofit Impact Wrong name, Nonprofit Corner podcast. And we will see you next time on our next show.